Hey folks, welcome back to the bench. Well, that's not a ghost you're seeing. I'm actually finally, after what I think is, it's got to be a year since I've touched this poor thing, I'm going to get working on my Jeep New Bright project. Get this thing to a point that I can actually play with it finally. I've got a few items I want to do to it, and hopefully I can get a few of the things mounted up today that I've got. But another thing I'm going to show you, I don't know what the sound is like, but if you look up there, you can see I've got myself a microphone, a wired mic, and I'm hoping it helps out with the sound quality on these videos a bit, being that it's right over my head. So this will be an experiment to see how it turns out, but let me show you what I've got to work on today. Just get my camera out of the way here, my FPV camera. Got a bag down here. Unfortunately, I left it outside the door for a few minutes and it started raining, but there you can see some axial bags. Oh, it really got wet. To get myself some rags, but bumpers. Yes, I did building my own steel bumpers, but things have changed since I started building those. Some stuff came out, and I like them better. Here's another bumper, but yes, I've already opened them. A few scale items. Those I'm not going to get to today, so I'll just hang them up on the wall. It's the kit with the fuel jug and the water jug and so on, but that's all that's in that bag. Now you're wondering, well, you probably see 3 bumpers, like what the heck are you doing? Because I was originally going to get an RC 4-wheel drive metal bumper, but then I decided for the money this made more sense. So I ended up picking up, if you can see that, the Poison Spider rear bumper and tire carrier. So that's what's opened up here. That's this guy right here. I've already partially assembled it because I couldn't wait. I was in the city and I wanted to just take a look at it. But I think that'll be a nice bumper. But I also got this set from the Proline, which comes with the front and a rear, as well as some mounting brackets. So let's see how it's got these brackets here. These are for T-Max, E-Max, axial, some posts, a whole bunch of goodies. This comes with a rear bumper, which I'm not going to use, and the front bumper, which I am going to use. Now there's a thing with this front bumper. I have a winch. Let me just grab a towel here and wipe up the moisture on the bench. I have one of the older 3 racing winches that I'm going to use. This comes with a fake fair lead, and that's what I was kind of tentative about using this bumper. But I bought it anyway because, I say, budget-wise, it made a lot more sense. Oh, and I got some lights. Sorry I didn't show you those. Those I won't be touching today, but I was hoping I could just cut this fake chrome bumper or chrome fair lead off and do something else. But the nice thing about this I found is gone, so I can do something. Maybe I'll make like a license plate or something in that hole that's left over. I think that'll work out alright. But my plan for today is to see if I can get these mounted up to the chassis and if they are going to work with the body in their current state. Now I already see an issue with this GCM Cross Canyon front mount servo chassis, where the heck the bumper is meant to kind of pinch, I think, on the inside, like so, but the servo's in the way. So how on earth am I going to mount it? Well, that's what I got to try to figure out tonight. I'll probably have to make some custom brackets and go from there. The rear bumper, I think I just need to take this brace out, or I'll probably leave this brace in and flip it, and that way, sorry, that's where this bumper goes. But this isn't SCX spacing, so you can see how it's way too way too narrow. So I'll either have to put some spacers in there or do something. I'm not sure. That's the whole fun of this. Maybe I can use one of these brackets that came with the Proline mount to make it work. But that's the whole fun of this hobby or this type of the hobby is to make things work that aren't meant to work. So first things first, I gotta get the body mounted up, and then we'll see how I'll lay the body in place and kind of see how this all looks. I gotta run some screws in here and find my extra tire and see how it's gonna mount. There's the tire. I'm not sure where the rim is, but let's get all organized and get cracking. Alright, got the body mounted up. I had to throw the interior back in and so on, but it looks a little bit jacked up. We've got lots of clearance, that's for sure. And you can kind of see, I don't know, for those of you unfamiliar with my suspension setup, I've got kind of a radius arm set up, but I do have some clearance issues where the chassis hits this link, the steering link, so I may actually have to make a custom bent link that comes down and across. Maybe I can use an existing factory axial link, but then you can see the shocks under there. These have an internal spring, but I'm not going to go with a coilover setup like you see in a lot of vehicles. I'm going to go with more of a factory looking spring that's separate from the shock. So I'll have to make a spring cup and a coil spring and blah blah blah, or that to hold the coil spring. That's my plan anyway. We'll see if it works out that way. But now you can see my servo up front, and this bracket, maybe I'll have to move it back, I don't know, but let's work on the rear first. No tail light, that's alright. So the rear bumper, yeah, well, you know, it's going to sit here, right at body line, right at the edge of this body line. So it's going to sit pretty much right there. I want to tuck it in pretty close to the body. Don't want a big ugly gap there. If I look on the underside, if I hold it up there, I think it's going to work out fantastic. Now, this little mount, this is for an SCX-10, this bumper. But this mount is kind of adjustable in length. So it kind of goes in, somebody probably can't see it. Goes in there, and I can see which holes I want to use. And I also think I know how I'm going to do it, and it's not going to take much modification at all. I think what I can do is I can flip this brace over, and the brace is actually going to act as a spacer, and then these bolts can go right on in. Now the only thing is it's going to want, maybe not. I think it's going to work. And as well, I'm going to have to clear it. You know, problem with that is it's not going to give me the height. It's going to drop this bumper down quite a ways onto the back of the Jeep. Yeah, I'm just kind of mumbling. So I was hoping to have it there, but it's going to come down even further, and so I think I'm going to have to make some brackets to make it work, folks. That's all there is to it. Just trying to visualize here. There's these two holes here that maybe can, if I put it upside down, maybe they'll reach. Yeah, they would reach. The only thing with using those, besides, is spacing, as well as this thing is going to want to just rotate. So, I know this part's actually meant to mount into the SCX chassis in some way. So what I might have to, I think I know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make hang with me, folks. I'm going to use these two holes, and I'll have to make a fairly wide spacer, and that'll capture those two. And then I'm going to have to make another bracket. I'm going to have to drill some holes, make another bracket to go across here, or even just a piece of aluminum that wraps around. like a cross member, and that'll capture this hole. So that'll give me 3, and that'll keep it from pivoting. So I'm going to have to pull this body back off and see what I can fabricate. So when I come back, hopefully I'll have a body mount, and I'll show you exactly how I made it work. So hang tight, folks. Alright, I'm going to zoom you in here. Let's see here. Just a little bit. As you can see, I don't have it together, but I think I lucked out quite a bit in that. You'll see. It should work out good. So I got these spacers here. I did some measuring with my calipers, and they need to be 0.4 of an inch. And I've drilled them out. I think I might actually have to drill these holes out too. So now what I need to do is get some of these long screws, hex pack. So using these hex pack screws, that was a great purchase. And I drilled these little spacers, are made out of chunk of link, leftover link. And these screws aren't even going to be long enough. Let's see here. Luckily, this kit I got has a real nice selection of them here. So let's try these ones. Okay, keep that from rolling away. So now I've got this bumper. These they will probably thread into this plastic. Maybe what I'll do is I'll pre-thread them. But I'm not going to expect the screws to just hold into the plastic. In the end, they're going to be bolted too. Yeah, they'll thread in. So I'm going to take the spacer right off of here. Throw the bolt through this existing hole. I'm going to zoom back out because your field of view is too narrow here. There, that should be better. So spacer, a bolt spacer, bumper mount. Now you can probably already see how things are going to work. Oh, I hear my boy coming, so let me pause this and I'll get back and you'll see, get an idea what I'm doing here. Alright, I'm back. I thought he was coming in, but I guess not. But you know what? No reason why I can't keep rolling the video and have my boy or family members in it, if they don't mind being in it, which I'm sure they don't. File that spacer just a touch. Okay. And this is going to work out good. Hey, buddy. She went to take Uncle Ronnie back to the house. Oh. So I'm just working on. Oh, slam the door. He's gone. All right. So now let's get that threading into the plastic. I can't believe how my luck is going with this mount. See, these rails on this chassis, I think they're set to be an AX10 width. Oops, wrong hole. And these bumper are meant to be an SCX. I didn't know that the SCX and the AX10 are different widths. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Maybe someone can fill me in. The axles are the same width, but maybe the frame rails are different widths. I'm not sure. But I bought this Cross Canyon chassis from GCM back when the SCX didn't actually exist. So, yeah, that's going to work out good, but I am going to need even longer screws. But you're going to see here what my plan is. And it's going to work. Now, you can see I got this cross member right here. And this hole, I put it in this existing hole. Sorry, I better look at the camera. I'm going to roll this thing over this way a little bit more. There. I put this in an existing hole. I'll have to make another hole because this can rotate. But turns out this guy is going to line up with that guy. So all I need to do, I'm going to have to throw a washer in there, I think. It's my calibrated eyeball to make sure everything's level. And yeah, it's going to need a few washers. I'll stack a few on there. No biggie. Because I can't really make spacer that thin. I've got a few orange spacers from a set, but they just won't cut it. So I think about 3 or 4 washers. I might make a spacer later on, but I got a bunch of washers right here. Oh, wait a minute. What do I have in here for spacers? Oh boy. Well, folks, I bet that guy right there. Oh, you'd think it was meant for that spot. Perfect. Don't have to do a hack with a bunch of washers. Now, in theory, I may have to move this plastic just a little bit. And you know what else I need to do? So I need to drill it out some. So let me get my trusty old, they're not old, trusty Milwaukee drill and a drill bit. Let's see here. I think this one will be the right size. Actually, that's way too big. I got another one here. Alright, there it is. Good old Milwaukee drill. Drill this plastic out. That's probably meant to take filled threads in it when you thread a bolt in. So there. I love it when a plan comes together, as Hannibal off A-Team always liked to say. So now, let's see if she's gonna. This should thread right into that cross member if it lines up. Come on. Don't call me a liar. There, she went right through now. It's hung up on the spacer. Look at that. Like a glove. I wouldn't even necessarily have to put extra bolts for this cross member, because the way it's all triangulated together, I think it's going to be plenty strong. So let's throw the body back on here and see if things line up good. I'm not going to bolt it up. I'm not going to throw any nuts on, but just get them on the studs. Kind of there. There. So now it can sit. Oh, wait a minute. I put it on upside down. Dumbass. Mind my language. I gotta flip it to the other side. So let me flip it and we'll try her again. There, I got it flipped the right way, and I can see it's kind of pulling just a little bit, but nothing for me to be concerned about. So let's get this on. Come on, there we go. That's more like it. I can see the holes under there. So now, this nice thing about this, look at that. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Gotta love it. Now the license plate's going to be obscured. Whatever. License plate can be down here instead. So then, let's throw these nuts on the bottom. So that it's a little front heavy, so things kind of pop off all the time. I'll just put one on each corner. You can see my mounting system here, using existing posts on that molded body. Works out well. Now, hoping down the road I can get some different axles, but it's just not in the budget at the moment. Working with what I got. So I'll just get 2 nuts on here. Come on. And then we'll see how it looks, and it can start on the front bumper mount, which is going to be not quite as simple as this one was. There. Now, if I look down there, I'm thinking that's the hole right there that I'm going to use. So I just need to thread in a couple screws. to hold the bumper in place. It gets a hold. So it's supposed to work. There's one. I think I'm going to like this bumper set. It's no metal Vanquish. Well, I don't know if Vanquish makes it. It's just plastic, but it's going to keep the weight down. I'm worried about scale appearance, not so much scale function. I think I'll probably get some paint, some good flat black paint, and fix it up. But look at that. So then this swing out tire carrier mounts on there, locks into that hole, and it gives me just enough room to get the pin in. So I'm going to finish assembling this tire carrier, and I'm going to bolt up, build my fifth tire, and we'll get her mounted up and see how she looks, and then start on the front. So stay tuned. Well, folks, I got her mounted up, and I think it looks pretty good. I got my spare tire on. Now, I do see one issue I'm going to have to try to figure something out for, and it comes down to axial products. Pretty flimsy with that heavy tire on there. When you're driving around, it's just going to flop around, and that's, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. I'm not really happy with that part of it, so I guess I should have known that. I was thinking maybe there's some way I could just put a little hook up here so it hooks into the back, just to help support it. If I hook it up into the top of the body, that'd make it a lot better. Something that'll use a body clip. Won't be perfectly scaled, but it is what it is. As far as looks go, I think it looks pretty good. You pull this pin out of the back here, and she swings out, and of course the whole thing kind of just drops to the side. I think these plastic mounts are kind of flimsy too. I may actually drill out these round pieces if they're not already hollow, and epoxy a rod in there to give them a little more strength. But oh well, like I said, I was looking more for looks and not function, and that's what I got. Ooh, I'm gonna lose a tail light. So it looks good. Now that was the easy one. That's just gonna bug me how I'm gonna mount that on there and still be able to take it out for a swing out carrier, but that's for another day. So now I gotta figure out how on earth, and this is gonna be more involved, how I'm gonna get my front bumper mounted.